Hey everyone, and welcome back to MMA Alerts. Today, let's start with Paddy Pimblett agreed to a fight with the UFC on July 27th. UFC 304 will take place at the brand new Co-op Arena in Manchester, England. This will be the UFC's first fight in Great Britain. Even though only a few fights have been confirmed for the event, it is likely that welterweight champion Leon Edwards will defend his title against Belal Muhammad, who is the top contender in his class. Tom Aspinall, the interim heavyweight champion, also wants to fight on the show. His dream fight is a unification match with Jon Jones, but that doesn't look like it will happen. Instead, he'll likely fight Cyril Gauguin or Curtis Blades. UK fighters Arnold Allen, Nathaniel Wood, and rising flyweight prospect Mohamed Makhachev are just a few of the fighters who have already announced they will be at the event. It's possible that Paddy Pimblett will also be in Manchester. The bad guy's last fight was in December when he beat Tony Ferguson at UFC 296, and many lightweight fighters, especially Bobby Green and Renato Moicano, have been calling him out over and over again. In particular, Money Moicano has been very open about wanting the fight. This week, Pimblett shared a video of himself watching footage of Moicano calling him out before he seemed to agree to the fight. If you want to see that fight in Manchester, you have to stand in queue and ask the UFC for it. That's how things work. Then let's do it. Please send me the contract. I will sign it and return it by tonight. As a response to Pimblett, Renato Moicano tweeted, "The smoke is not what you want." Next, Islam Makhachev turns down a fight with Max Holloway. In just a few weeks, Islam Makhachev will fight Dustin the Diamond Poirier in the main event of UFC 302 in Newark, New Jersey. Makhachev is ranked #1 in the world at 185 pounds. Poirier will be defending his title for the third time in his career. Khabib Nurmagomedov and Charles Oliveira have already beaten him in title fights. Arman Tsarukyan, another contender, was given the title shot right after his win over Charles Oliveira at UFC 300, but he turned it down because he wanted to wait to face Makhachev until he had completely recovered from his training camp. Max Holloway won an impressive fight at 155 pounds during UFC 300. The former featherweight champion took out Justin Gaethje in the last second of their 5-round BMF title fight, which was a spectacular finish. Out for the Hawaiian at both 145 and 155 looking forward. This seems to have opened up a huge number of doors. This week, good guy, bad guy, Islam Makhachev was on the podcast of Daniel Cormier and Chael Sonnen. They talked about the chance of Makhachev facing Holloway next if Holloway keeps the belt at UFC 302. He wasn't excited about the thought. To be honest, Max already has a job in his area, and I don't want to give him a chance while people are still talking. I'm not going to defend my belt with guys who are really light. This is why I need a real opponent in my division. I also want to clear my class and fight Walter White. Makhachev beat Charles Oliveira by submission at UFC 280 in 2022 to win the title. Since then, he has only fought twice, both times losing to Alexander Volkanovski, who was a former featherweight champion and tried twice but failed to become a double champion. This week, Conor McGregor also tells us some very important news. Along with a great career in the octagon, Conor McGregor has built up a great business portfolio. This week, he took steps to grow it even more by signing papers to become a co-owner of BKFC, the biggest bare-knuckle fighting company in the world. The news was first shared live on TV during BKFC's recent Knucklemania 4 event. This week, BKFC president David Feldman met the Notorious at his famous Black Forge Inn pub in Dublin to make the deal official. When Feldman spoke at the press meeting after Knucklemania 4, he talked about McGregor. He thinks that the Irishman's success can help the promotion. In the main event of UFC 303 on July 29th, McGregor will fight Michael Chandler. This is the second to last fight on his UFC deal. We don't know yet if he will choose to stay with the UFC or if he will throw down his gloves and fight in his own company. The Notorious is also getting ready for another fight. Former Artem Labov, who used to train with McGregor, has sued the Irishman, saying that he was offered a 5% stake in McGregor's whiskey brand proper No 12 but never got any money after the company was sold in 2021. McGregor is said to have made around $140 million from the sale, and the Dublin High Court has told him this week to tell them how much he made. Jon Jones was charged with spying on his opponents. It seems like the story about the fight between UFC heavyweight champion Jon Jones and past champion Steven Miocic never ends. The fight was set for November of last year at UFC 295, but Jones had to pull out because he tore his pectoral muscle 2 weeks before the fight. Not long before the fight, heavyweight rivals Tom Aspinall and Sergey Pavlovich stepped in to fight for an interim title. Aspinall won, knocking out Pavlovich in just over a minute. Aspinall has asked Jones to fight him more than once in a title fight, but Bones and the UFC are still set on moving forward with the Miocic fight as soon as the champion is healthy enough to do so.